So you bring men with you to support you, to respond to questions. And I thought because they are all declared, what do you call yourself? Declared operatives?
Yeah. Official.
Yeah, they are officially declared. They will not run away from the mic. So they are all running away because I was going to distribute the questions, accordingly. Yeah, but they've left it to the girl. It's tough being a girl amongst the boys. Oh, I need to first correct the FATF date, the FATF inspection date. They're coming now, end of July, 29th and 30th of July, 2025. So I hope South Africans will behave. The visitors will be here. We need to get out of the grey listing. It's important for all of us to do. Why release the strategy now? So other countries release the strategies. It will help South Africans to understand what are we focusing on at a policy level and strategy level, and also how they can also help. We have not given you the full strategy. We've given you what we call the public version of the strategy, because they are sensitive. There are others that are sensitive. It's for our implementation and the other agencies that we work with. But it's important that South Africans understand our mandate and what we are focusing on. This strategy guides the work of the South African State Security Agency, and when we break up, it will guide that intelligence community. Then you will know that this work is not what they are doing is not what they used to do of doing other funny things. You must hold us accountable to say what you have set yourself as the pillars of the strategy, what is the progress you are making as relates to those pillars, including what we call the national intelligence estimates and priorities. We are willing to have a conversation that says, how far have you gone in terms of the priorities, both at the domestic level and at the foreign level, that we have set aside, that you have set for yourselves and the country, because it's not for us alone. Some of them must be done by the police, some of them must be done by the defense, some of them must be done by DTIC, all the economic cluster departments, all the security cluster departments, which includes Home Affairs. Everybody has a role. On the cultural security, for instance, the Department of Sports and Culture plays a critical role. So you must all help, you hold us to say, are those things being achieved? As SSA, are you monitoring? And as NICOG, are you monitoring that those things are being achieved? Is there nobody going out to compromise our national interest? Like what happened earlier in this year with the issue of disinformation that was threatening the social cohesion of the country, but also threatening the unity within our diversity of the country. So those are the things that we get settled doing those. So we're telling you what our work focuses on, what we are directed on. And that's what you must hold us accountable to. You say, what are the risks? They are there. You can read them. I'm not reading the risk because I know where you want to get to the risk. You want me to read out for record?
No, I only paid for a few minutes. I just got the document.
But that's why you're a journalist. You'll do the document is fully available publicly. You can have the discussions. We can work around how do we do the clarifications if there are post clarifications. We have listed the risk that and the risks. Remember, a risk does not necessarily materialize. The issue is that you need to identify it and mitigate against it. Because one of the risks is the risk of coup d'etat. To say there is a potential risk of a coup d'etat. We have identified it and we've put measures to mitigate against it. So that's why we say to South Africans, there has not been anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa. In the last few days or in the last few weeks, there has not been anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa. We can say that not that they are not people planning. They are, but we're continuously monitoring them and making sure that we deal with those. It's for those reasons that we unveiled, and like I said earlier, when things are done, everybody else will claim the glory for the work that we have done. So we can't come and say, of course there are those who will go with cameras and say we are arresting I almost went there. We are arresting these people for this and this. They don't tell you that is intelligence driven and it's from us. It's us who pass. We don't have the arresting power to make sure we stay proper and clean and uphold the constitutional principles of our country. So we then rely on the law enforcement agencies to do the arrest, but who would have done the spade work. And then political parties protesting. I don't know why they're protesting. For one thing, I know General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi does not need anyone's protection. So I don't know why they're protesting. We need to understand the decision of the president. The president has to uphold the provisions of the Constitution. He has to ensure that there is due process. It's not just about the allegations made by General Mkhwanazi. It's about what the NIP has identified. If you recall, when I was reading, I can maybe I must just get my tablet and read the problems. And if I can get a note, there is a mandate in that which we have not, when you see, of decontaminating the criminal justice system in the country. Because we are aware of the challenges that are there, and that's why there is a priority that deals with that. To say decontaminate the criminal justice system of criminality, of corruption, and all that. There is that mandate that is given by NICOC in the National Intelligence Estimate and Priorities. So that work continues to unfold, and we don't have the privilege like my other departments, States SA and GCIS and the Presidency, where we can come and give a blow-by-blow progress of how far we've gone in implementing X or implementing Y, because we threaten national security when we do so. And therefore, consequently, is there a threat to G20 delegates? No, there's no single threat to G20 delegates. We do threat assessments for all the meetings. It doesn't matter whether it's a Sherpa meeting, ministerial meeting, deputy ministers meetings, officials meeting. We do all the threat assessments in time, and we mitigate. And there have not been any threats coming out in South Africa. The safety and security of the delegates of the G20, it's guaranteed. It's not the first meeting, the important meeting that this country has hosted. Is it a year ago or the other year? We hosted the BRICS summit here with high-profile delegates who are mostly at risk, and everybody was safe in this country. And even when we held the BRICS, it did not just start with the leader summit. It started with the preparatory meetings from the various streams, and everybody was safe. So we are safe in this country. The president's responsibility is to make sure that he gets to the root of it, and that's why he had announced that the reports will go to also Parliament, to the judiciary, so that we can then deal with the things that have to be dealt with quicker. Unless we want to join the lynching, a mob of lynching one person over the other and taking sides without facts. As a president, he has a responsibility to make sure that there's due process followed. Because if he doesn't follow due process, the next moment, all of us, I'll take a podium and accuse one of you of something else, and then there must be action. You'll take a podium and accuse me of something else, and there must be action. And that's not new. People must be given an opportunity to clarify themselves, but it's more than clarifying themselves. It's finding, dealing and addressing the root causes of the problems as identified in the National Intelligence Estimate, to say we need to decontaminate the criminal justice system in its entirety of corruption, of criminality, so that we can then deal with crime in this country. And that's what the president has provided us to do. And he has given strict timelines to say there must be intermediate reports in 3 months and in 6 months. And it brings the whole actors, because there are those who are saying, no, we have had commissions we have not acted on. We are acting, by the way, on the Zondo Commission report, and we provide continuous reports to Parliament. Even last month, we provided a report on the work that progress with the implementation of the Zondo Commission recommendations. But to also mitigate that, which will say there's going to be a delay, the president has gone further and said the reports as they come in, they're not only going to go to him, they're also going to go to Parliament and also going to go to the Chief Justice. So it addressed the issue of people being afraid of saying there might be delay in implementation of the recommendations. There won't be delays. On the skills, they are going to get me fired if I repeat what I said. They were not very happy with me, because it talks to our capability and our capacity. It talks to our, how do I say it? It talks to how we are able to respond. So that's why we said in that in the debate that we'll submit the skills audit report and the competency assessment report to the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. And you recall when I was addressing, I clarified the matter that was raised by Honorable Hadebe of the IFP and the lady from Busa, the honorable member from Busa, who were saying the budgets must be published, it must be declassified. And we said, if you disclassify, it gives our adversaries knowledge into how we are operating and what we are spending on, and therefore it unveils our capacity and our capability, which that knowledge or that openness will then threaten national security. I'm trying to find I hope somebody was nice and sent me the written questions. On the written questions, I've dealt with the question around General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Whether there will be no other unrest. How many times since 2021 July uprising have they tried to do mass mobilizations, mass uprising? They've tried, but as the net joints and the security cluster have managed to deal with those effectively, and they've come out to naught. And that was demonstrating our ability to handle any attempts at an uprising in the country. If we have to elevate above the net joints, we'll do the elevation above the end joints. What is the difference between the national security strategy and the national intelligence estimate? I thought this needs the professionals. But the strategy gives the overall direction and say this is the focus areas. The estimates are done. So we've done an estimate for the term, for the 7th administration, for instance. That's why we've released for the 6th administration. But we revise them annually. So annually we go to the National Security Council and go to Cabinet to say, given what we told you last year, this is how the situation is panning about, either through interventions or through non-interventions or through other developments as they evolve, because security environment evolves. So that's what the estimate does. That's why we call them estimates. And then from those estimates, we either revise the priorities, the international intelligence priorities, to say, when you were focusing on X, now the priority X has been managed sufficiently or is no longer a major threat. The priority has become a priority C. Go and focus on priority C. So that's what we do. And so the strategy is there for the long term. We do review, but ordinarily we do biannual review. You may do a review of the strategy if there's been a massive global shift. We are still debating whether we need to then do another huge review of the national security strategy given the global developments, so that we can our strategy can be responsive to the new developments in the globe, or whether we had sufficiently covered it from the strategy level and also from the estimate levels, and therefore enabling us to respond effectively to the challenges that face our country. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to urge South Africans and assure them that the security cluster is solid. The security cluster is able to do its work. There are men and women in various capacities who continue to work as patriots for the protection of this country. And there are men and women in the intelligence services or intelligence community who continue to work to make sure that this country is safe. There are men and women in the defense, in the police services, who work for the greater benefit of this country. So any matters, the challenges that confront us, we're a resilient nation. We've always found solutions. We've always been able to deal with solutions, and we've addressed them. And because people are worried about the national security, that's why the president has given shorter timelines to the Commission of Inquiry. report and to make recommendations whilst it's doing its work. And that must give South Africans the comfort that security is a priority for this government. And for that reason, we have also released the National Security Strategy, so that there can be a discussion, and also the National Intelligence Estimates, so that there can be a discussion in the country, is that the work that is being done, is it enough? What are the gaps, so that we can improve? Because national security is all our responsibility. Thank you very much.
We are safe. On that note, this press briefing is adjourned, and thank you very much.